So, John, you wanted to know about the ruins at Holliday Park. Well, it turns out that they come from the St. Paul building, which was the first skyscraper in New York. And it was designed by this really big architect of the time, Carl Bitter. And so when they decided to tear down the building in the 1950s to make way for a new skyscraper, the owners of the building, the Western Electric Company, decided to hold this competition and sell off the ruins. So the statues are called the Races of Man, and the cities all over the U.S. had to present plans for preservation and display so that they could vie to have these great statues placed in their cities, which were valued at about $150,000. And this one artist who made the plans that won Indiana the statues was named Elmer Tafflinger. And he proposed these sketches, and so they got the statues. But when they first got them, the plans weren't really carried out, and Tafflinger was like, well, I want to keep doing this. I want to keep doing this. And he was an artist, and so he was a little bit manic because he started just collecting pieces of like statues and memorabilia from all over the place. As buildings got torn down and old architectural statues were sold off, he was like, I want that, and I want that, and he started incorporating them into his design. Finally, in the 1970s, started getting concerned. They're like, hey, this hasn't been completed, even though we got it in the 1950s, and so it was finally dedicated on October of 1973, and it had a reflecting pool, and it was by a community center, and in as the bicentennial in 1976 approached, they decided, hey, Tafflinger, this is all Tafflinger, he was like, hey, why, instead of just having a jumble of statues and stuff, why don't we make it an entire collection, and it will be a symbolic panorama of American history? And so he put in a whole bunch of things. There was a large reflecting pool added, and he made it so that it looked like a large collection that all was meant to go together. But it's much as it is today, but it started falling into disrepair. They didn't really keep it up. The pool leaks, and so they don't fill it anymore. The community center was torn down. Some of the original trees just didn't thrive in Indiana, and so it's pretty much just been able to fall into disrepair, which is why now it's ruins instead of what it was meant to be originally. So that is the story of the ruins at Holliday Park. I hope that answers your question.